ABC News presentation, the stunning Hopkins 24/7, in which producers Terrence Wrong and Peter Bull and their camera crews spent months inside Johns Hopkins Hospital trying to determine what makes healthcare professionals tick.
Still a good chance it's cancer.
Well, but there's also a 75% chance it's not.
Okay, tell me.
I mean, 75% is pretty good, man. People bet on the lottery for winning $10 billion. If they see in front of them this stodgy guy with, you know, a white coat and, "Hi, I'm Dr. Mons, how are you?" You know, they're not going to want to kind of open up and share with me what I need to know. Because I need to know what they want, because my obligation is to give them what they want.
We were so excited when we won the DuPonts. In fact, we were really surprised because usually the traditional journalism was winning during that era. So when Hopkins won, we were literally jumping up and down. Terry Wrong was beside himself. It was one of those great moments in the newsroom. And for me personally, it was amazing to get invited onto stage the next day. And, you know, it was one of those really great moments in a young person's life when you just realize, you know, the work is starting to really happen, the work that you really want to do. I was really proud of that.
We're always thrilled when alums especially win, and every year there is at least one or two. And so you were invited to speak at the Winner's Circle
Yes.
conversation the next day.
Right, so I was on stage with a couple of other people from Hopkins, and also David Fanning happened to be on stage. And we had been emailing a bit through one of his story editors, Karen O'Connor, but that was the first time I met David, was on the stage. And it was so profound because, of course, I was a huge fan of Frontlines, and I watched it carefully every time it came on. I was one of those people who would watch it and then order the DVD to study it. So I would study them because I was so curious how they made films like that. And I was a student, I still am a student in a lot of ways. You know, I like to study things. And so when he was on stage talking about new forms, because I can't remember what they won for, but he was talking about small cameras too. I just remember looking down the table at him thinking, it took me off guard. I was surprised that he was so excited about new forms of filmmaking. I didn't expect it. And what we realized, that both of us, we started to talk that day on the stage to each other about the real benefit of using smaller cameras and benefits of smaller crews and how you can get, you know, what we felt were more real stories, more intimate stories, closer to the truth, right? The truth is always ephemeral, but closer to a truthful conversation with all this apparatus of cameras around you. And I was so inspired by that conversation that I really wanted to work for Frontline. You know, it was one of those profound moments, and I talked to him after, and it was only a year later that I was working for Frontline in a full-time capacity, and I left ABC, which was very difficult to do at the time, and a lot of people questioned me when I left, you know, that I was going to an independent documentary series, and I had such a great job at ABC, but it was a terrific move.
It's wonderful. So a connection made at Columbia,
yes,
at DuPont.
That's right there, looking at each other, talking about the same technology and the same conversation that we continue to have to this day.